Francois, morning to you. Wishing you a merry festive season. Help me understand, what do we mean when we talk about an anti-dumping duty? Before we understand why it's come into play, what is it?
Well, essentially, it's an extra cost for the importers who have been making massive profits off dumping chicken in South Africa. So dumping means they're selling chicken either below the cost of their production or below the cost in their local market. So essentially, they've already made their profits selling the white meat, which the Northern Hemisphere likes to consume, and then they dump the bone-in portion. So remember, this is only a duty on the bone-in portions, meaning the wings and the thighs, you know, the bits of the chicken I like. And this is really to level the playing field because they make enormous profits. So they're able to adjust their pricing to just below the local market. And we have seen in Ghana, for instance, that what happens in the long term is they force local producers out of the market. And in 2017, a study by USAID showed that chicken in Ghana was more expensive than steak in South Africa. And that's the long-term effect. In the short term, the people who lose their jobs are those on the lower rung of the employment ladder. And, of course, the livelihoods for small poultry farmers in rural areas particularly, who can't compete with these frozen chicken from being dumped in South Africa at these prices that make a fortune for the importers.
Yeah, we all know what steak costs here in South Africa, so you can imagine what it's going to cost in other parts of the world. So here's my next question on the timing of this. A, is the timing, why now has this decision been made? And then talk to me about the countries, Brazil and 4 EU countries, because we're in a little organization called BRICS. I thought perhaps South Africa would have been a bit more lenient, at least towards Brazil. So timing and the countries, tell me about that.
Well, firstly, because we are in BRICS, I would have thought Brazil would not dump in South Africa to destroy our local producers and small-scale farmers. So it works the other way around. I think South Africa has now taken a measure that it's taken before when dumping has taken place. Because remember, this is not necessarily illegal, but it's certainly an illicit way of trade. It's against the rules of the WTO, the World Trade Organization. And it's very important for South Africa to make sure that there's a level playing field for local producers and importers. And this is really the purpose of these duties being imposed. Already, there are anti-dumping duties against 4 other countries, the US, Germany, Britain, and the Netherlands. So this brings to 9 the total of these huge markets where they sell and make their profits on the breast meat and then dump the unwanted product very cheaply to the importers in South Africa, who then make a massive profit, but selling it just below the local price and thereby forcing our own producers slowly out of the market.
Yeah, it's almost a case of like doubling up on the profits, I think, is one of the big concerns here as well. Francois, before I let you go, can we just talk about what could now happen? So we understand these anti-dumping duties have been imposed. What can these countries and Brazil do for South Africa to reverse this decision?
Well, of course, this is being done in terms of the WTO rules, which they are also part of. So they are transgressing the rules here, the regulations. Therefore, this is being done in a very proper way by South Africa. The International Trade Administration Commission is doing this, and they're investigating it. This is an innovation, really. FairPlay is very happy that the government has heeded the calls to speed up the process, because normally it would have taken a year to 18 months before duties were imposed when dumping is found. And that's because it's a very slow process. What the government has done here is to speed up the process, and they're giving themselves leeway to investigate further and to come to a final conclusion. Maybe there are more countries, or maybe there are higher duties needed in some cases for the individual companies that have been importing by June next year. So we're very pleased that instead of waiting for locals to lose their livelihoods, speedy action was taken. It's an innovation, and FairPlay is very pleased about it.
Yeah, it's very much a case of preventing it rather than trying to repair the damage later. Francis Baird, founder of the FairPlay movement, wishing you all the very best, to you and your loved ones, for the festive season. Appreciate your time.